2, and 1. Hello, I'm back, everybody. Missed everyone. Haven't done the show in a long time, but I'm back. But guess what? We don't have a stranger to the show. She's been on here already. She knows what's up. Lightning, Sarah LaTona, but I have to call her Sister Sarah LaTona. Welcome to the show.
Yay!
How are you today?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me on again. I always love coming on this show.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having you coming on and stuff. And you and I and Jason got to chit chat for a moment at the East versus West Northwest qualifier. So
Yeah.
I'm happy because I got to see you guys again. But I need to know, what are your plans going forward as far as that goes?
For East versus West, to be honest, right now, I'm more focused on my match with Sarah. So I'm kind of focusing all my training towards that. And that is after East versus West. So
Gotcha.
I'm still training with that, but it's kind of focusing more on Sarah's technique than what I will be doing in East versus West.
So tell the viewers out here, how much do you know about Sarah? Because we all know she came off the IFA World Championship stage as a world champion last year in France. So tell me your history with her. Have you pulled with her before, or what's going on with that?
Yes, definitely. So the first time that I pulled Sarah was at a tournament in Stuckey Farms, I believe. And she beat me to the punch in one of the left-handed matches. And I actually injured myself because I was in this position and I just kind of yanked her across the table. So after
like
that,
open hand top roll style or what?
And I just like yanked her across the table. So that was my fault because of doing that. And she's gotten, I believe, one pin on me, and it was from that tournament. I'm not saying that she wasn't strong. She was very strong, and it was her first one. But ever since then, I've just been like, I'm not going to let this girl beat me. And, we have it. And that's the thing too. I also am always going to be cordial with people. I'm always going to be nice. I'm just that type of a person. I don't need to bash someone to make myself feel better.
Right.
So with that being said, Sarah is an amazing arm wrestler. She's dedicated. She has a drive that a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't have. So it's something that I am very, very excited to pull her again. Normally, after that one match, I've beat her in all the matches we've been going against each other, but I haven't pulled her since April of last year.
Ooh, okay. And
so it'll be about a year, a little more than a year since I pulled her. So yes, she is getting better and stronger, and so am I. So I don't know where we are at this point when it comes to our technique and training and everything like that.
Well, and the thing is, you got to know, for everybody out there, Robin Chandler, Carolyn Looms, Mr. Mike McIntyre, Paul Stevens, and they're all in the chat. Welcome everybody to the show. What's difficult is that it can be one-sided. What I mean by that is that if you subscribe to Sarah, she's putting in the work. She ain't messing around.
Yeah.
Whereas Sarah
no.
LaTona, she's on social media, but not in a training regimen. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Well, and that's the thing too. We don't know where her training is. We don't know where she is because she's not posting. So that also becomes an issue for me too, because I don't know how she's pulling right now. I don't know where she's at in her training. She could just go right through me. But at this point, I do feel pretty confident but I'm also not going to underestimate her.
Right. Oh, your camera froze on you and you're making a face.
I know. I can see.
But I will say this though.
I'm actually gonna try to turn off my Wi-Fi and just use my phone.
Okay. Can you still hear me when I talk while you do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Because my next question would be, how do you feel when you have an opponent coming up and yet they have all access to you and your training and what you do or matches, but you don't have the same in return? How do you feel about that? Do you think that's a disadvantage, advantage, or how is that?
There we go. Go ahead and ask me that again, because I didn't hear what you said.
I was asking, like, how do you feel when, like, there's no secrets? And what I mean by that, anybody can have all kind of access to you, training-wise, working out, matches, where the other Sarah doesn't really have all that much out there. So you really don't know, okay, how strong is she getting? Like, okay, we don't see a lot of her. Casey Allen's in the house. He might know. He's from Utah, but you don't really see that much from Sarah. So do you think it's a disadvantage to you when all your stuff's out there? Because I know all my stuff's out there. So how do you feel about that?
I actually don't think it's a disadvantage because of the work that I put in. I will let everybody know my tips. I will let everybody know my secrets. If they ask, I will let them know. The thing with me is I have a drive that a lot of people don't. So that is a thing. Yeah, they can see all my stuff. You know who else does that? Hermes does it. You know who else does that? Bolsazar does it. You've got all these top level arm wrestlers, Irakli. They're all showing what they can do. But they're putting in the work.
Right.
You can know everything about someone. But if you don't put in the work, if they don't put in the work, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So the big thing that I can say about Sarah is I do see her tournaments that she's in recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I also don't go to that many tournaments because of work, finances, stuff like that. So I don't get to many tournaments, but she does go to a lot of tournaments. So she's not putting up training videos, but I am seeing how she pulls.
Right.
So, and she's getting stronger. Like Sarah is amazing. She is strong. She, like I said before, her drive is something 99% of the world doesn't have. And that comes from her teaching background. That comes from her training background. She's a gym junkie. She loves being in the gym. So for me, that drives me as well. That makes me work harder as well. And I have the utmost respect for Sarah, the utmost respect. And we will see how my training is either it's working or it's not.
Right.
And that's how I am with my wins and my losses. With my wins, I am happy. Everybody is.
Yeah.
My losses are what drive me. My losses are what make me a better arm wrestler, make me a better champion. That's what the losses do for me.
So when you do lose, take us back. I mean, I think I asked you this before last time you're on the show, but when you take a loss and you go back and you watch that match over and over and over again, what are you looking for? I know for me, I get upset like, okay, I lost that. Why did I lose that match? I'm thinking, oh, okay, is it elbow placement? Is it foot placement? Is it because, sometimes you see stuff on video that you don't see when you're in the match and vice versa. I can tell when I'm like going, oh, well, crap, my shoulders weren't in the right place, or, hey, I missed the go. It's always something. So what exactly do you look at when it comes to your matches when you lose, since, losing matches motivate people? What are you exactly looking at?
For me, when I watch my matches that I lose at, most of the time, it's either I flash people or I get flashed. So for me, I have to literally slow every video down.
Right.
Because if I don't, then it's hard to figure out where my where the areas I need to work on. I'm not going to say weakness because I just don't want to say anything negative. So the areas that I need to be stronger in and that I need to work on, I have to slow everything down. And Jason and I will literally go through videos and scroll through them and figure out, oh, my hand went back like that much, or my hand went back like this, that much. So we are, and this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand. The way that Jason works is more meticulous than any other person I've ever met. He is so intricate with everything. Finger placement, wrist placement, where's your thumb, where's your pinky finger. So every time I lose, I'm like, okay, it's not a negative thing to me. It's a, how did that person beat me?
It's a tool.
It's a tool. Exactly. So Jason and I are literally, even when I'm like this, he's like, okay, you need to be more like this. Not like this.
There you go.
Like this. There's so many, or just looking at my fingers. Like if my fingers are here, not letting my finger come down here, but keeping it here. There's so many little intricate things that people don't understand. Like Devin has said before, arm wrestling is by millimeters. Millimeters.
The difference between this and that is
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So the biggest thing for me is going through my matches, and I can watch the East versus West qualifier that I just watched, and I'm like, I should have beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I can look at it and go, Sarah, what were you thinking? Obviously, I wasn't.
Now, I'll tell you this. For me, I have bad habits, right? And I'm trying to break those bad habits. So, and I'll give you an example. I'm used to training with my team here on Saturday mornings here at my place, and mainly one of the stronger pullers. Then what I'll do is just, hey, you go ahead and do what you want. I'll try to see if I can, catch you and then try to work from a negative position. That part's not bad. What kills me is that I end up starting like this. So I'm not even straight. I'm like this. I'm already giving that up. It's just a habit, right?
Yeah,
And I'm
you're
not trying to
carving in.
Right. I'm not trying to carve it. I'm just thinking, okay, go ahead and go. I'm thinking, all right. And then when I straighten up and try to do it, it's like, oh, I need to get back on my game,
Yep.
Do you have any of those kind of flaws by chance? Or bad habits?
One of my, you can say flaws, but one of my bad habits that I have is a lot of times when I pull, I'm strong this way, and a lot of times that gets me in trouble. So my bad habit is because I rely so much on my strength, a lot of times I end up doing this.
Right.
Instead of doing this. So a lot of my bad habits, like one of my bad habits is letting my hand come down.
Gotcha.
When I'm pulling. Letting my hand come down and not using my bottom part of my hand. Because if I'm coming down and I squeeze hard, that's a good move.
Yeah.
But if I don't use my bottom hand, the bottom part of my hand, and I only use the top, that's when I get turned over.
Right.
So now I'm focusing more on my bottom fingers to be able to still kind of do that move. But I mean, that's just one of my moves. I have multiple ones, and that can also be a hindrance to arm wrestlers. I'm not technically or specifically amazing at one move. I'm good at a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
So
I get that.
sometimes that can hinder you when you get higher into the sport. I have multiple different ways that I can arm wrestle, but specifically, I don't have a move that is me. I'm just good at all of them.
Right. I have the same thing. Well, I left hand anyway. I got this lock about right here. And it's pretty strong. I have a habit of just doing that over and over in practice where it's like, even my teammates go, why are you allowing us to get you there? I'm thinking, no, I'm going. I'm just trying to stop you. Or
Yeah.
out of getting a habit, then all of a sudden I'll forget that, oh, we need to work on ready goes if we know
Yeah.
toward the end of practice, you know. So
Yeah.
those habits is just okay. When it's tournament time, it takes me that one match to go, okay, snap out of it, you know. Okay, let's
Yeah.
get, and that happened to me. First match out the gate. Casey Allen, you know, you're in the chat. So
Mhm.
Casey and I
I
were going at
remember
it.
that.
I might have did I miss the go? I can't remember what I missed the go. I do remember elbow fouling, and I'm like going, oh my God, I need to like wake the fuck up, you know. So I'm thinking, all
Yeah.
right, let me just wake up. So I just kind of shook it off, you know, restrap, and all of a sudden then it's like, okay, now I'm back now. And
Yeah.
that was due to part of, you know, my last tournament I competed in was December of last year. So you take all those months off and you don't compete as much, then
Mhm.
it's like, oh, okay, you know. But
Yeah.
Paul Stevens in the house. Paul Stevens says Sarah's biceps and shoulders are looking huge, by the way.
I'm training a lot, Paul. You have no idea.
Putting in the work.
Yeah, Jason and I we have a new coach from overseas. So we're training with him right now. So yeah,
See, that's
it's
what's up.
exciting.
There's not
Very
many,
exciting.
there's not many couples, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it again. There's not many couples that have somebody as a trainer for their sport. You may
Yeah.
have a trainer for like one or the other, but not so much both. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
That's how you know you're taking the sport very seriously, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, okay, well, okay, Sarah LaFon, you know, get ready. But I like how
Yeah.
you and Jason conduct yourselves. Like, okay, if we're gonna spend all this time and effort into the gym, right, then we better
Yeah.
take this thing as serious as possible. If that comes down to like eating right, if that comes down to
Yeah.
like watching matches over and over, like you said, Jason will
Mhm.
break everything down. Where's your finger pressure? You know,
Yep.
why are you here instead of there? I mean, just little
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's almost
Yep.
like you're a football coach and you break down film of the
Yes.
opponent. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, and I hate to reiterate this because it does get kind of annoying. A lot of people don't understand that arm wrestling is a combat sport.
It is.
And it's you are putting your will against somebody else's will. And it's gotten to the point where I want to not necessarily prove to people, but I
Right.
want to show people that we are athletes.
Yeah.
It's not just a bar sport. It's not just a sport that, yeah, people do it for fun. People do it, because they love it, because you can't make much money with arm wrestling. It's changing,
Yeah.
but it's going. It's going. It's going. Um, but it's just like I hate how arm wrestling is looked at in America compared to overseas. And I think the biggest reason for that is, I love over the top, but it hurt our sport so much.
Got it on DVD. I got it on DVD.
But I love it. I watch it
Right.
all the time. But it's one of those movies like that, and where people are like at bars and they're like, yeah, let's arm wrestle. I'm like, that's not what our sport is. We're athletes. We train. Like Jason and I literally train every single day.
Right.
Every day. We have 2 tables at our apartment, and it's kind of annoying when people are like, oh, that's a sport? I'm like, yes, it is.
Yeah, I sit there, you know, and tell people like, okay, either A, they don't know, they're like, oh, it's a sport, or B, they always ask you, hey, you ever seen that movie with Stallone, Over the Top? Those are the 2 things I always get when talking about the sport.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, you know what? We train as athletes, right? And it's
Yeah.
not like we train for 4 years and then compete and then wait for another 4 years. Not like that. But it's to the point where, you know, if you're going to spend all this time, then do it, you know, because put all into it. there's nothing more frustrating than to waste all that time. You might just go ahead and here's my entry fee because I'm not going to put the time in. I think it kind of bothers people, but the point I want to make to you, and you can feel free to jump in and feel free to give me your response. When you said that people, in Europe look at us differently in arm wrestling, and I have to say, first of all, we don't have the government like they do to back us up, because you and I, and everybody in the chat and the rest of the world, we still got 9-to-5 jobs. Where
and they
over there, for some third world country, that's what they do. And it's like, you know what? I still got to work. Like, we sit there, we put our body through the grind. We do all this prep the week of a tournament, weight cut, whatever the fuck, the day of the tournament, you put everything out there, blood, sweat, and tears, right? And then you wake up the next. I mean, how many people wake up Sunday morning going, "Damn, I'm freaking sore"? But you know what though? We still got to work. Yeah. So we don't have the luxury of taking time off to heal and then come back and do it again. We just don't. That's my, interpretation of why they think they look at us differently, because we got other stuff to do. Maybe this is your life, but for us, our lifestyle, I mean, this don't pay my bills. It's just a hobby to me, but it's something I enjoy though. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I see it from both sides. I see it from, arm wrestlers that love doing it just because they love doing it. Which I am one of those, but I also want to be world class. I want to be known over there. Right. For my weight class and things like that. But everything you said, I do agree with you. And I can see it from both sides as well. So it's a very touchy subject because we all want arm wrestling to be like NFL, to be like the UFC, to be like, baseball, soccer. Like, we all want to be known like they are, right. But it is very hard to fund a sport where you can literally make your own tools.
Right. And here's the thing, for me,
not that other sports can't, but we don't.
Oh, no.
All we need is this. Yeah. This is the only thing that they need to sell is this.
Right. I'll tell you what, Sarah, sometimes you ask yourself, when you've been in the sport long enough, like this is year number 13 for me. So being in the sport, for that long, I sit there and tell myself, hold on, let me let my cat out. Hold on.
Oh, you take care of that kitty.
Go ahead. All right. Sorry, I had to let the cat out. So,
it's okay.
When you be in the sport like we do, you really want to test yourself. So you kind of say, okay, you know what? In arm wrestling, how do you test yourself? Well, you can go on a big stage, maybe a national, something like that. Maybe an Arnold Classic. I mean, because some of the best are going to be there for the most part. But I sit there and say, you know what? I'm embarking on 2, possibly 3 monumental matches, right? And I'm leaving to go across the pond, right? I'm going to compete against the international.
Which I wanted to talk to you about that as well. So I'm glad you brought it up. I know we're talking to me, but I actually want to talk to you and ask you how you're preparing for that and everything like that. So.
Well, since you twist my arm and asked me.
Yeah. Please. So, I'm sure everybody else wants to hear too.
Is anybody in the chat? Are you guys okay with that? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay with me. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Yes, chat.
Give me a thumbs up if you want to hear
Jody's training is. And then I'll talk. We already talked a little bit about my preparing. Let's talk about your preparing.
Okay, I don't see a thumbs up yet, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So
I'm going to put a thumbs up.
Preparing for Arm Wars, right? And I've been in talks with Neil Pickup. He's giving me all the information and things like that. How I'm preparing. First of all, I didn't know until like Monday, like this past Monday. I didn't know who I was pulling.
Because I saw that.
Yeah, my original opponent couldn't make it, couldn't leave the country. Some, some issues there and stuff. I was bummed out. So that left me kind of limbo going, okay. So we got 4 guys from the U.S. going there, right? To our Iron House number 3 at Arm Wars.
Yeah.
They
Arm
know their
Wars.
opponents. And I'm sitting here like going, okay. So on my other show with Ryan Espy, we do every Monday morning, the Can-Am Connection. We made a big joke. Hey, who's the mystery partner I'm going to pull? Who's my mystery opponent? All of a sudden, people are throwing in Larry Wheels and Ryan Bowen and Bill Pickup, just random people. Stoica, all kind of stuff, right? I'm thinking
that would have been a cool match.
Oh yeah, so you got Neil Pickup, right? He comes on our show because it's about evening time over there when we do ours in the morning, and he started giving out these clues. Like, okay, I'm not good at riddles, So I'm thinking, okay, because you got to remember, you're preparing for Sarah LaFon, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy for you to prepare for that person where I don't know who I'm preparing for. So as far as my training goes, that didn't change. But who I'm preparing for does matter. So let me go ahead and start by saying that what I'm doing is that my last big practice was last Saturday. So I had some of the guys from the Valley, I had some guys from Idaho show up. I said, you guys I want y'all to trash my left arm, right?
Yeah.
Trash my left arm. So that way I'll get as much as I can just to see where I'm at and then do some blood flow work. And, I'm still hitting some weights, but as far as table time, I'm done with that. Because I don't leave till next Wednesday, right? So I won't do any pulling this weekend, but I'm just kind of like being smart. My water intake will go up, so doing a little bit more cardio because you got to remember it's 6 rounds. Like,
are you doing a water cut?
No. I mean, I'm just more water than normal.
Oh, okay.
Just to kind of, because there's no weight classes here, new. Because the guy I'm pulling, I found out once I solved the riddle, I had to call Shaggy and Velma and all the rest of the game to help me find this thing out. But his name is Adrian Popescu out of Romania.
Okay.
So of course, I'm thinking, all right, so I'm gathering all his videos from Arm Wars and stuff.
Romanian?
Yeah. Watching over and over again all his stuff. And so now it's like, okay.
That's awesome.
Because I get my first taste of international competition, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, all right. Now, granted, when I went to the IFA Worlds a couple years ago in Florida, I took second to a guy from Brazil, but he actually lives in New York. So, I mean, can you really call that? Yeah, I don't know. But, going against Adrian, who is legit from Romania, I'm thinking, all right.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah, they take this stuff seriously. So I have to
they do.
On my A game.
They're like the Kazakhstan guys. Like they're legit.
Right. So at this point, it's more conditioning. Like we're talking. I don't want to be. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't want to be LaVon where I need a goddamn oxygen mask. Right. Not that I'm in danger of that, but I don't want to be that guy because I know it's arm wrestling. But yeah, you got to be in somewhat shape. I mean, look at me. Of course, I'm not 415 pounds like LaVon, but still, I mean, carrying all that weight going 6 rounds, no matter what. I mean, you're going. I mean, this is Arm Wars, so you're going 6 rounds no matter what. There ain't no, hey, I got 4 wins. I'm gonna go ahead and just tap out. No, it's 6 rounds. Yeah. So there's that. I have another match the next coming up. While I'm there too, like the next day, I think. I don't know who though. So. For me, it's more like, okay, I got to prepare myself. I might not know who my other opponent is until I get there. So, I got to worry about.
So are you doing right and left? Okay.
Both left.
Both left.
Both. So,
right.
I'm excited to go
and then
there.
Obviously this will be filmed and then put out so everybody knows this is pre-filmed.
Yeah, I don't want nobody getting all bent out of shape and stuff.
I know.
But there might be some juicy stuff.
I'm very excited for you. I'm so happy that you are going to be one of the athletes that are representing America. I think that's amazing. Because you are such a genuine person.
Yes,
and you've been in the sport for so long, and I think you deserve it.
Thank you.
So. Yes, of course.
So you know Mika from California, right?
Of course I do.
Me.
He's gonna be there too, right?
Me, Mika, Joe Cagle, Austin Jaggers. Those are your 4 Team USA going to represent at Arm Wars, which
Joe
is cool
Cagle
because
too.
you got like all 4 of us are in different weight categories, so it's kind of like it'll be cool, you know. So our heavy hitter is Austin, obviously, you know, good win off on Derek Smith, by the way, but we're gonna go there. We're gonna do, you know, we're gonna pump each other up, be in each other's corner. You know, I mean that's always awesome. And then
that's a good team right there. It's a good team.
But we don't stop there. I know this is a Sarah interview, but you know,
hey, it's all right.
Next month,
we can talk about you too.
Well, next month, Monster Factory 4, right? Yeah, so there's that too. So
I'll see you there.
Yes. So for me to, you know, matching this up these next couple months, this month and next month is real important to me. So I got to really kind of, you know, be smart about my training. I got to be smart about, you know, how I perform on the table in practice, making sure I don't do anything stupid to where it may cause an injury, you know, when I'm working out. I really got to be smart about that. So, you know, it's basically I come home, right? And then it's like, all right, I got, you know, a couple weeks to rest. Then it's back to training. And then I got to chill because at the end of the month, guess what? I'll be in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Here we go. You know, so we're on it again. So
no, I completely agree with you. I mean, that's kind of how my training is going as well. June is East versus West, and then July is my match with Sarah.
June 3rd, East versus West people finals in Virginia, by the way. And Casey Allen really wants to beat me because so here's the thing. So okay. If I go there and do good in Arm Wars, right? And I go there and do good at the Monster Factory, right? And then somehow Casey beats me, then that skyrockets him up, you know. And you know what? Here's the thing. Casey might just beat me one of these days. You want to know why? Because I think people need to understand that this is not a sport where everybody's going to go undefeated. You know that.
Oh yeah.
We all know that. You're gonna take a loss and stuff. So
everyone has a loss.
Right. So I mean, you know, some
at
people
least one.
Yeah. So some people are telling me like, hey, be careful who you take matches with because, you know, some people might try to get some clout off of you. I'm thinking, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. You know, it's just I like to compete.
Not.
You know,
it's not.
So
and that's I've had people message me.
How do you handle that?
Oh, I'm fine. I've had people, you know, message me and they're like, you know, oh, you've got nothing for Le'Aaron. And I'm like, I shouldn't. She's a better arm wrestler. She's been in the sport longer than me. And I've had people bash me about watching me at the last tournament. And I'm like, you also have to understand I'm smaller too. I'm a smaller arm wrestler. So when I go into these tournaments and I'm going into tournaments where it's 154 and I weigh 135. So that's a big difference. And people don't understand that 5 pounds of weight in a higher level is so much more than you know. So much more than you know. One of my biggest cornermen is Le'Aaron and Ben. They are my biggest cornermen. And I dedicate everything to Le'Aaron. I was talking to her, you know, before the tournament, and I was like, I don't think you understand that the last time you told me, you know, to get on that table and pull me like you're pulling all these other girls. Don't be scared of me. Get up there and give me a match was the last thing that I heard from Le'Aaron, you know, face to face. And I told her, I was like, I don't think you understand that when I was training for Rebecca, I kept hearing that in my head. Yeah. I kept hearing you telling me, get out there. You deserve to be here. You need to beat me and you need to beat me like a champion. And I told her, I was like, you are the reason that I worked my ass off because I could hear you in my head when I was training. And she was like, yeah. And she was like, geez, I think I created a monster. And I was like, no, you created a champion. There's a difference.
Yeah. There you go. Couple things. Number one, I know some guys that can't beat Leanne. Let's get that straight, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
let's put that
So
out
don't
right
give
there.
me crap that I
Right.
can't.
And second of all, do you see the comment right here? Why would anyone bash y'all? Because
I don't
honestly, to
know.
answer your question, we live in a society where the trolls are out. I mean, I don't know who
Yeah.
invented the troll army, but what's sad is that
Yeah.
is the fact that people do that now. It says how they get clout, right? They bash us, whatever, you know. Let the haters make you stronger, Sarah. There you go.
100%. 100%. And I do. Like when it comes to my training and when it comes to my arm wrestling and everything, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, all right, how did this person beat me? And
Right.
I will ask them. I will ask them after the tournament. I'm like, how did you beat me? Show me. Because I want to get better in that area. And she has been one of my number one fans since day one. Since day one.
Right.
She has been in my corner. And that's what makes me grow in this sport. Because of people like her, because of people like Ben, because of arm wrestlers in this sport going, okay, I want them to be stronger to make me stronger, to make me work harder. So I've just gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let people say what they want to say, and I'm going to come back and show them that I'm supposed to be here.
Well, here's the thing. Reason why, not the reason, but there's a bunch of reasons why I admire your pulling. But not only the workouts, but we take a loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get back up, dust ourselves off, get back on the horse, right? And this goes back to saying like, hey, we're not going to win every match. You're going to take a loss. And I mean, it's what the sport is. It's how it is sometimes, you know. And I think some people out there are some athletes, you know, and I know, we don't have to get into names, but we all know there's some people out there across the whole nation of the United States where they take a loss and they like disappear.
Oh, yeah.
Or they pump themselves up, take a loss, and then they disappear. Like, you don't have to do all that. It's like, it's okay.
No.
To take, I mean, hell, I didn't win my class. I lost a Tim Tall match, you know? And everyone's asking me, how you let Tim beat you? What do you mean how I let him beat me? Like, there is no let.
I let him beat me.
Like, I mean, you know, I went to hit, you know, and he's the kryptonite, honestly, for me, right hand. So, you know, on the hit, he knew where to put the clamp out, and I took off, and granted, my wrist popped. All right, it is what it is, no big deal. But, you know, it's like I just let him beat. I mean, my adrenaline carried me the rest of that tournament because I was in so much pain that it was just ridiculous. But I guess my point is that, you know what? The thing you got to realize is that it's okay to take a loss because guess what? Even if I went 2-0, right? And this is where some athletes need to understand this because they put so much pressure on themselves that if I take this loss or if I go 2-0 in the tournament, does it suck? Yes, I want to do better than 2-0. And I've been there before, so I know how it feels. It's horrible. Now, guess what? If that happens to me, my kids still love me.
Exactly.
My wife didn't leave me, and I still got the house. So I'm winning. It's all good. It's not that serious.
100%.
And besides,
100%.
Right. And the thing is, though, it's like, man, it's a hobby. I got to remember when I put too much pressure on myself, that's when I get in trouble. Right.
Yeah.
I get in trouble because I put too much. Oh, I got to take top 3 or I'm a nobody. Or, hey, if I don't win this class, then, you know, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Eliminate all that because when I approach stuff at a tournament or a table, like, look, you know what? My thinking is different now. Right.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to put I mean, yes, you want to do good and win, but it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So, you know, but there's another question I want to ask you. Do you have a hard time saying no? And what I mean by that is that if someone asked you, I don't know how many times you've been asked for super matches, and someone says, hey, Sarah, how about you and me have a super match? Or, hey, Sarah, I have somebody for you, or you're interested. Do you ever get a point where you have to say no?
I had about 5 or 6 different people messaged me when they found out that I was doing the super match with Rebecca. And I had to tell people no, and I had to tell people my focus is on Rebecca right now. I'm not going to take any matches before that.
Right.
So when Corey Miller messaged me about doing a super match with Sarah for the Airs Super Series, I was like 100%. Even though I knew that I could be going to East versus West, potentially for the qualifier, I was like, yes, 100%. And the biggest reason for me too is if someone is like 15 pounds more than me, no.
Right.
I will not do a super match. And if that's not me being like, I can't beat them, that's me going, that's not fair.
Right.
That is somebody that is significantly, I don't think people understand that 135 pound woman is a big difference from a 150 pound woman.
Oh, no doubt.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And or you know, and that's the only gripe that I have with the East versus West qualifier is that there isn't a smaller weight class.
Well, here's the thing. Perfect example. So you remember the match with Megan Blake, right?
Yeah.
And she pulled Sherry out of Canada.
Yeah. I pulled Sherry too.
Yeah. You could totally see the difference, right?
Yeah.
So there's situations where that doesn't really matter, but then it's all, styles make matches. She's coming like this, you bust it back that way and keep it there and just kind of move your elbow around. You can drain her out, just open her up like that. So that does happen, Now, granted, and the thing is, I think now with ladies, why they have maybe 2 classes or just say, hey, it's all one class because you can't bust up and go, we're going to have 5 ladies classes because you might get 1 in every class, like 1 puller in every class, or you'll have no puller in each class. And then now the registration gets to be hectic. The director or the promoter has to sit there and eat the cost of all the medals because now ladies showed up. So
and I 100%, I agree with that. I understand where they're coming from. But it's still a woman my size. We just have to be stronger, and I get that. We have to get stronger, because I could potentially be having someone like Angie Rose drop to 154.
Yeah.
And I would be going against Angie, who she could potentially drop water weight to 154.
Yeah.
And then come in the next day and be like 165.
Yeah.
170. So I'm going against somebody, I weigh 135. I'm going against someone that's 170. So it's like and there are badass women over there, over the pond, that are my weight.
Yes.
Badass women in the sport. They have all those weight classes over there. They've got 115, 120, 125.
Oh, we lost Sarah, or she got a call. Did you get a call?
It's okay. Yeah, it was Jason. I stopped.
Damn it, Jason. What the hell, man?
I know.
Well, let me ask you this then.
So
with those weight classes over across the pond, do you really focus on like, okay, let me focus on these ladies over here in Europe or Russia or the Ukraine. Let me just look at their weight classes just to know, picture myself, right, over there. If I'm watching a WAF championship or the European championships and I'm looking at the ladies in my weight class, do you kind of hone in on that and kind of go, huh? Is that something you do?
Yes. So for me personally, I watch the women here in arm wrestling in America, but for me, I just have to get stronger. If I'm going to be pulling arm wrestling in America, I have to get stronger.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get bigger. People are like, well, why don't you just like bulk up and get bigger? Because I don't want to be a bigger person.
Right.
I want to be athletic. I want to be, and for my frame, getting into 140s kind of pushes me off of being athletic. So for me, I want to look athletic. And you have to understand too, my sponsors are all max. Like, and if you look at all max athletes, they look athletic. So like for me, I have to also go along with who my sponsors are. So when I am watching a lot of arm wrestling, I'm watching those girls.
Yeah.
I'm watching the 130 girls. I'm watching the 125 girls. I'm watching those girls over there because that is more of my competition. I'm not saying the girls here aren't.
Right.
And I'm not using the weight as a thing. I just have to be stronger because the weight classes aren't going to get smaller in America.
Right.
From what I'm seeing, the weight classes aren't going to get smaller. So it means I have to get exponentially better in my technique and also exponentially better in my strength.
Correct.
To be able to compete here. Where going over there, it's more of my weight classes over there. So I have to focus more on the international polling, going to IFA and worlds and stuff like that. There are more weight classes, which means I'm able to be in the smaller weight class and potentially be at the top of the smaller weight class. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to constantly be in the bottom of the weight class.
Let me ask this question for Mr. Alien. So the lowest weight class
right?
for men, it's on a regular tournament, it'd be 154. But if we're talking about a national, going to worlds, it'll be like, I know once upon a time it was 121.
I was going to say it was like 120.
It was every 11-pound increments. So it was 121, 132, 43, 54, and so on and so on. Now IFA has a different set of weight classes, and I don't know exactly as far as how low they go. I just know there's a big gap between 209 and then 231, which I would fall into that, and then 231 and over. So I hope that answers your question. On a normal tournament, you're looking at 154, but then again, sometimes depending on what tournament you go to, I know, for example, I've been to a Travis Bajan tournament. He only has 3 weight classes. So it's kind of like get in when you fit in, right?
Yeah.
Like 170 is your lowest one. So it all depends on, where you're at, where you want to be in, and that may or may not dictate what tournament you go to. There's always that too,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right, right. And I know it's really hard to have tournaments and have like the different weight classes for women. I 100% understand when it comes to everybody putting these matches on, or not matches, but putting these tournaments on and everything like that. I completely understand. It's just the girls in the smaller classes just have to get stronger.
You see?
Yeah, he does.
There you go.
I literally just messaged him. I was like, I'm upstairs.
Well, okay. So here's Casey. He says the qualifier is at 176, which I get, and
yeah, the qualifier for that is 176. Yeah.
The funny thing about it, and it didn't dawn on me till I saw the brackets where the qualifier we went to, there was a 220 class, but that wasn't one of the qualifying classes. That was weird.
Yeah.
That was weird, but nonetheless, I try to tell. I thought there would be more people at that one we all went to, but I don't know if the title East versus West qualifier kind of scared them away. And I was trying to tell people it's another opportunity for a tournament. We don't get too many tournaments here in the Northwest, so it's like just take it in. If nothing else, right? Then compete. Hell, it's another tournament. The next one will be my tournament. And that's not until June. So let's be real here, people. Come on now. you know. So
Yeah.
but what
I
else you
think
got
it's
going
like,
on for the year?
for me, I'm just focusing on my training. I'm obviously focusing on getting stronger. My technique, everything like that. For now, um, that's literally what I'm focusing on. Focusing on Sarah, getting ready for that match. Not saying that I'm not training for East versus West. It's just kind of before everything. So I'm focusing more with her because that was, I accepted that before I knew I was going to East versus West qualifier.
Right. And I don't want to use this as like a UFC, but I'm gonna have to just so everybody understand that. So you got match with Sarah coming up, right? And where's that again?
That is July 20, I think July 28th, July 29th.
Is that the Wyoming event?
It's at the end of the month. Yes.
Because Corey asked
Yep.
me about something, but my schedule was already like full and stuff. So when you have something like that, it's almost like, okay, and we'll use like a UFC fighter or a boxer. Okay, I got this match coming up. That's all I'm thinking about. That's all my training is going to be surrounded around this match. So if I don't go to any tournaments, if I don't go take a match before that, this is why. It means that much to you. Just like you said earlier in the show, hey, December, all I'm thinking about is Rebecca Todd and nothing else. So anything prior to that doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be, rude. I'm not trying to think I'm above everybody, but you gotta understand this is where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I agree. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to say no. I've been guilty of that in the past of not saying no. Because you don't want to overbook your schedule either. Just want to. I mean, my year
and
is pretty much.
You want to be able to be 100% at everything that you do, or close to it.
Right. I mean, basically here a year is, what is it? March 16th, and I'm pretty much solidified and done for the whole year. Like I got my stuff scheduled out like up until December. So it's kind of like, okay, which is a good thing. I like to plan stuff out. Yes, there's Arm Wars. Yes, there's Rush Trader at the Monster Factory next month. At some point, Casey and Allen and I will get on the table. Yes, I'll be in Utah in September. Jordan Seal, Justin Green. Yes, Washington State, Brandon Allen one-on-one, whatever, So knowing all that's out in the open, you really got to be careful about saying yes and saying that kind of stuff, which I'm glad I'm at a point where I'm a certified ref. That way I can still be a part of this event, not just refing, that kind of stuff. So it happens,
Well, then that's another thing too, is I want to eventually be I want to eventually be certified as a ref.
Right.
Because I think more women need to do it.
Hey, get a hold of Veronica Knight. She's a good ref.
I know. And she doesn't take crap. And my favorite refs are the women overseas. Yeah. They're by far my favorite refs. Yeah. I love watching them. Well, and I love that was the first time I've been to a tournament where you were reffing. I love Tim Talmadge. I mean, what's not to like about Tim? I mean, he's a great ref. There's very few good refs out there.
I'm not going to comment on Imagine Jody Larrett reffing. I'm really not going to say anything. She can be a hand. Who knows? She might be a good ref. Who knows? I know you're in your corner. She's in your corner, but the thing about reffing is because it does keep you in the sport, and it can be frustrating because how many times am I sitting up there kind of going, all right, stop moving, here we go, I'm thinking false start, and you tell these athletes, hey, it's real simple. It's 2 words, right? Tim told us, hey, it's 2 words, ready, go. It's not ready, go. It's 2 words.
No.
Don't go on the
Ready,
D and ready.
go.
It's ready, go, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. I mean, and
Yeah. I hate the ready, go. I'm like,
right.
no.
And some people
Because
try
I'm
to
not
tell
ready.
me, right. And some people try to tell me, oh, I'd rather have this ready go. I'm thinking, why? So you can false
No.
start? No, I'm not saying
Yeah, exactly.
ready, go. I'm not saying that. It's just 2 words. Ready, go.
Ready,
That's pretty
go.
much it,
Yeah.
I mean, you should be
Yep.
ready anyway. The problem, I think, and you tell me what you think. I think some of the problems I have is the fact that people false start because they want to kind of get the jump.
Mhm.
Ready, go,
Yeah.
false start. What do you mean false start? Well, if you just be ready, and then go. I think it's because everyone's last minute regripping, or they got looks good. They get that little shoulder here like that, or they kind of get this going on here. It's like, okay, knock it off,
Yeah.
We'll see, But I don't know. I mean, I like it to the point, and the thing about reffing, you see things differently when you become a ref, and then you compete. You see things that you normally don't see,
Right.
And that's
Right.
always a bonus too. So, and
Yeah.
because y'all got to realize, without a ref, there ain't no tournament.
Exactly.
So
the refs need to be paid as well.
That'd be awesome, And I'm not saying they got to be, just
no, they have to be compensated for what they're doing.
Right.
I mean, they are there to get through the tournament. Oh, I do not prefer that.
Well, I mean, yeah. To each his own, right? If someone just said, go, I mean, I'm like this. That's not straight that up. Some people maybe go. I'm like, okay, because then it gets sloppy. That tends to be more of a, a practice kind of setting. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, you should disagree with me, but it's just as a ref, you want to make sure the tournament goes smoothly, and you want to make sure no one gets gypped. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Personally, I love the ready, go.
Right.
Personally, I love that.
And I'm doing this. I'm not like putting any kind of extra pressure on someone's hand or finger.
No.
It's like
just that
ready,
go. Yeah.
When I do this,
I love that.
You're on your own. Like, okay.
Yep.
But like I said, some people
actually like the close your thumb, close your hands, go. I also like that too.
You see what you just did though?
Yeah.
What'd you do? You went close your thumb, close your hands, go. You see what you just did? I hate that. I
can't stand the finger stuff.
Right. I mean, I don't mind it, but it's just, close your thumbs, close your hands.
Yeah, close your thumbs.
When you close it,
hands,
someone's always doing this. Like, come on, dude. That's why you have that. Your ref has to be here. You'll feel that.
Yep.
You can feel.
I love the ready, go. I love
How
that.
many times did I feel that at East vs. West qualifier? I felt it a lot. Yeah, foul. Yeah. There you go. Look. Yeah. Foul. There you go. Foul.
Now,
Sarah.
I can say, Zuola, I am one of the most fair arm wrestlers you will ever pull, especially in a tournament. Now, will that get me into trouble? A lot of times it does.
Yep.
But I don't do the carving. I don't do the pulling. I don't do any of that stuff. If you're pulling on my arm, I'm going to let my arm go.
Right.
I'm not using any of my energy to pull you back to me.
I have learned though, because I've been guilty of that too. Like, I've been told, dude, you're too nice.
Yeah.
But I will say this.
I've been told that too.
However, when you compete on that upper echelon, you're going to have to be a little, excuse my language.
You got to be a little more forceful.
You got to be a dick on the table. Like, look, you know what? Yeah. I mean, that means, hey, I'm going to grab you like that and sit my elbow down. Let the refs sort that stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
I'm learning that now.
Yeah. I know for a fact when I go over to the pond, I assure you, there's going to be a lot of jockeying around and stuff. And I got to be prepared for that. Because sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? F it. Just go. Just say, I don't care. Just go. He can, whatever. Just go. Because I want to get the match done. I don't want to burn my energy on the setup, you know?
Yep. Yep.
I'll back
I
away and
agree.
go.
And that's something that I'm learning. So I'll get better. I'll get better as we go.
Yeah. But again, it's just practice makes perfect, right? So, you
Yep.
know, Sarah LaFon, Wyoming, preparing for it.
Yep.
Any I don't want to give away your secrets or anything like that, but I'm assuming training is going very well, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And
And
we're training a little bit differently now, so we'll see how that works out.
okay. When is your last table session or practice prior to a super match?
It'll be about, depending on how I feel, 2 to 3 weeks out
Okay.
will be when I do my last one.
There you go. And that after that, it's more like, okay, I, I'm not going to get any stronger in 2 weeks. So it's just like, all right, this is where I'm at. What's up, man? What's going on?
Put the headphone in.
Hi, Jody.
What's up, Jason? Chime in for a second if you need to.
Look, there's the band here. Hold on, I get some last minute
training in.
thumb work.
Yeah, it's all about the thumb. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Where's Sarah? She's not here. You're training. I'm good, man. I just got off work. Can I even get in the camera?
No, you don't fit.
I don't fit.
Looking
You don't
nice.
fit.
So, Jason,
How are you, sir? Yes, sir.
Sarah and I were talking earlier. I like what you guys are doing because what really just excites me is because you guys, Sarah the athlete, and then like you being not only husband but like trainer per se, and say, look,
I hope we'll be
let's
only
go watch
husband.
these matches. Let's figure out what you did wrong. And I like how you guys break things down. Hey, foot placement. Hey, elbow placement. Are you engaging your lats? You could tell from looking if someone's engaging their lats. Hey, all right. Why are there no pressure on these fingers on your opponent's hands? I mean, just to the very fine detail. And that's, some of the things I admire about you guys because you guys are all in, and then, hey, we got a trainer helping both of us. And then I just like, you know what? That's how you guys know you're taking things real seriously. And you have to, because Sarah was saying, hey, people in Europe look at us and go, yeah, your arm wrestling is a little bit different. I'm like, well, yeah, because we still have 9-to-5 jobs. We don't have the government pumping us up and all that kind of good stuff. So I thought I had to applaud you for that, by the way. So yes, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, it's so cliche to say you win or learn, but that like I told Sarah when we were going out to the East West tournament 2 weeks ago, she was like, I'm really nervous all of a sudden I'm running all this, and I said, well, number one, you're not in your weight class, so like it's like just put that out there, and that'll help alleviate some nerves. Number two, as I said, you can't lose. Like I tell people, I can't lose. It doesn't mean I'm going to win. It's not a conceited thing. It just means that I'm either going to win or win the match, or I'm going to get data to tell me where to train, how to train better. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And I always tell Sarah that. I'm like, don't look at it as you got a loss because someone's better than you or stronger than you or anything. Not taking away from anything everybody else. I always expect my opponents to be training more or do, that's what motivates me. Like I did 3 training sessions yesterday, man. And when I went back and watched my matches, and I really only had one loss we only lost to one person, which was Jake Houston. I knew about Jake coming. Ben Bledsoe told me about it. I didn't know Jake was Jake. I just heard his name. Yeah. And then when I lost the first match, I was like, dude, that guy's really good. I was like, and they're like, oh, that's that Jake Houston guy. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. It was a bit difficult. I think you've done it before. Yeah. We talked about it a hair at the event, but it's difficult to go from like, hey guys, what's up? My name's Jason. I'm Jody Williams, Chocolate Thunder, into the mindset of, oh, I'm on the table,
Yeah, and that's hard.
It's hard. And Jonathan, of course, Jonathan Vasquez, one of my teammates out here.
Old rival of mine, yeah.
Yeah, so you know Jonathan, and but Jonathan said, he's like, dude, what the hell? He's like, you're right-handed. You did like 4 matches in a row, and I was like, because I came from the B side, Jake was on the A side, and it was like, Kayla was saying to me, hey, we need you back at the table. I thought she meant the announcer booth, and so I go to sit down. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I almost had like those last 4 matches, like back to like I think 4 matches in like 2 minutes. I didn't care. I felt super confident. But again, a great time. Shout out to Tim and Kayla for everything they did for us at the event. It was just awesome. So can't wait
Now,
to see this next.
there's one thing, and Jason, you know, because you and I talked about that. And Sarah, I want to tell you so bad at the time, but being also the ref and some of you guys' ladies' matches, I couldn't say anything. But I want you to, you'll know where I'm going with this. Let's just say I'm Sarah and I'm gripping my opponent, and my head ref is that way. Okay. So this is you, Sarah. Head ref is over here. This is you. And you have the habit of doing that, which, you know, that might work for you. It really would. But what I noticed is that on, you know, when the ref said, you know, ready, go, your first movement was this. But by that point, your arm is already over here. So you already lost because, you know, it's like ready, you know, unless you know you're coming this way, it was like you looked at your hand first. We've been taught to always look at your hand. Totally get that. But it seemed like you lost a half a second off the go because you're like, you know, time the ref slipped. Okay, fine. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You got Jason there. He, you know, he's working with you. I don't want to sit there and throw you off the game. My question to you is, what if the head ref was on this side? Are you still doing that? You know,
Yes.
and then looking this way?
Yeah.
Just
So
curious.
that's interesting that you say it because she said it to me. You know, she's like, yeah, Jody told me about looking, and I was like, well, I have to see, you know, why, you know, he thinks that. It makes sense the way you explained it now.
Yeah.
The reason, if you watch Jake Houston and I and our final match, we're both, he's this way, I'm this way.
Yeah.
Right.
And so for me, it may be a technical flaw with Sarah. The reality is the speed of light is quicker than the speed of sound. So I can see the go quicker than someone else can hear the go. I know how fast I am, and I know that my movement isn't this, it's this.
Right.
But if Sarah's is that, that's a really nice bit of information.
Yeah.
Because,
it's a good one.
Yeah, because it may be one of those things.
Because instead of me going like this and coming straight down with it, I'm doing this.
Right. If you're doing that, then Jody's 1,000,000% right, 100%.
Yeah.
But 100%
And the only reason
right.
why I said that is because your match with Le'Aaron, because she was just blasting everybody, that stuck out like a sore thumb.
And that makes sense.
And it makes sense.
A lot of sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah. And it's something that, like, and here's the thing. I'll be totally honest. This is not me kissing your butt or anything like that.
Right.
When one of my favorite verses in the Bible is wisdom loves correction. And I love hearing that I might be wrong because that means I have room to grow. Because if I'm here and I'm doing everything right, well, that's shitty. But if I'm here and I'm doing everything wrong, or a couple things wrong, maybe I have some room to grow. And so I told, when Sarah said that to me, I said, look, you need to go and we need in practice to simulate a real match and try both versions where I close my eyes and someone says go and you hit me and someone says go and you hit me, depending on and I'm going to hit back. I'm going to hit back too. But let's see which one feels more, let's see which one feels better. The one, and I won't know because I'm not going to be subjective or objective or whatever because my eyes are going to be closed and I'm going to, oh, that one felt better. Oh, that was me looking at my hand. Well, then that's what the one you got to do.
Right.
Or, oh, no, that's the one me looking at the ref. Well, that's what you're going to do. Just make sure it's fine tuned. No, I love that. I love that what you said because that makes a lot more sense. If she's going, I'm going like this, and if she's doing this first, then that's a lifetime against a fast puller like Le'Aaron. You know? That's a lifetime.
I was concerned. I'm thinking, you know what? Because I don't want to step on toes. And, you know, if you're training.
That's
Sarah,
not stepping on toes. I want to hear that.
Right. And because like 9 times out of 10, your style works for you. It was just watching, you know, just watching from afar. And I'm thinking, okay, and I was the down ref on some of those matches. against you and Le'Aaron, I'm thinking, okay, Le'Aaron's like super duper quick. Like you got to make sure you're like this, because if you're like that, all it takes is, and you and I talked earlier, if you're here and all of a sudden you're like that, that makes a whole difference.
Yeah.
That makes the entire match.
Well, the thing is, like Dallas Langston, and I love Dallas, and he's a good dude. He said before after the Monster Factory match, he said I saw him in I saw him at the Fit Expo, Olympia here in Vegas, and he was like, "Oh, dude," he's like, "Le'Aaron and Sarah won't be a match. She won't even feel Sarah." And I said, "Listen, I've pulled Le'Aaron, I've pulled Sarah, and don't take my word for it. I asked, I said, take someone who I think as a female may know what she's talking about. And it's a female arm wrestler. You may or may have not heard of her. Her name's Gabriella Vasconcelos. And she had just pulled Le'Aaron, just pulled Sarah the following week. And she said to her, to Gabby, the strength was the same. That's what Gabby said. Now, I didn't say that doesn't mean anything, because there's so many other factors once the arm wrestling match comes in. The mental game, timing. Le'Aaron is still the better arm wrestler. Not only is she a better arm wrestler, she's definitely the better tournament arm wrestler. Yes. But when the two of them got on the table after pulling, and they were able to say the next spot, it was quite even. Sarah was like, boom, boom. It was like whoever got to there, that was it. And and because of this, and I told Dallas that I said, you haven't grip Sarah. So without gripping her and gripping Le'Aaron, like side by side, you're just speculating, and you can, and that's fine. Everyone can speculate around their opinion. And I am the most right now. If they were to have a super match in a month, if you told me I got to bet my money, I'm betting on Le'Aaron.
Me too.
I want Sarah to win, but I actually still think until Sarah breaks the mental gap.
Yeah, we talked about it. I have a mental
Le'Aaron,
thing with her.
she does two things wrong. Number one, she squeezes her hand too hard. So, and you know this, if you're putting pressure right here, someone like Le'Aaron, she knows exactly where to go. Mm. And enough load.
Here's two things. Squeezing hard, and here's my theory, and I want you two to see, and everybody in the chat, I want y'all to see if you agree or not. Take a gripper, right? I love hand grippers. When you squeeze them to where they touch, your wrist is back that way. But it's hard to cup. Where if you loosen up a little bit, you can cup all day, right?
Yeah.
When you squeeze your opponent hard enough, it's hard to supinate. It's hard to pronate. Absolutely. As soon as you loosen your grip, you can. It's easier. Yeah. That's just what I believe.
That's why we train grippers like that.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah.
But 100%.
100%.
100% everything you said. 100% correct. At least I agree with that 100%. But again, it wasn't it was Sarah. Going, I'm finally going to get, beat me, or get at least a face Le'Aaron, and, get on the table, as opposed to just casually gripping her and getting ready for a match.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And again, it's just because when something is, and again, when you've never beaten that person, it's really hard.
It's a mental thing.
It's a mental thing.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but when you squeeze there's people I know. When you squeeze, your opponent that hard, I understand you want to give your opponent maybe an intimidating feel. I get that. But being in the sport for 13 years, okay, you squeeze me that hard, you can only go one way, which is side pressure.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
And
yep.
It's just what I think. But you made a comment earlier, Jason, about Le'Aaron, how she's an awesome tournament puller. Well, and I believe that when you've gone to WAF World, when you've gone to IFA Worlds and compete over there in Europe and stuff,
she's been to
okay, I got to hit that bullseye every single time,
Yeah. And that's exactly what she told me too.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You froze for a second.
Oh, sorry. So that's exactly what Le'Aaron told me as well. She was like, once you go to Zloty, once you go to WAF, you become a completely different arm wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely.
It's just like anything. There's those gaps. A training gap. For instance, like in boxing, you and I are the same age, right? You and I are the same age. And I don't know if you're a boxing fan, but I grew up watching I grew up watching Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, and then Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was my hero, man. Mm-hmm. And watching Mike Tyson, and I couldn't even fathom him getting beat. I remember watching the Buster Douglas fight. I remember it because it.
Oh yeah, the one in Tokyo.
Yeah. And watching Mike Tyson lose and get knocked out, and I remember it was like almost like my own dad got beat up, but after that, it was like he was human. And all of a sudden, then Evander Holyfield beats him, and then then he starts losing, and just like anything, Conor McGregor was untouchable. Conor McGregor loses to Habib, now he loses to Poirier, and now he loses to Poirier again. It's like it's a hard thing.
It's the mystique.
Yes. It is. I guarantee you. Here's the thing. It depends what champions are made of. Do you watch Gabby lose to Barbara? And does that give other women hope? Did Hermes and Levon open up a whole can of worms to all these other super heavyweights? And there's a chick there. I'm training way harder now on Monday.
Here's my thing. Everybody has a weak spot. It's up to you to find out what that weak spot is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Some people think Devin's the best. I mean, Devin has weak spots. Hell, he fucking lost 6-0 to Levon, Brzezinski has weak spots. Everybody we know and we've seen has a weak spot. So, and we'll use Levon for an example. We can use Levon and Gabby. So Gabby, I mean, when she walked through everybody, okay, she's not going to lose. But guess what? There's a kryptonite. There's a weak spot. It got exposed. Now Gabby's probably doing rope climbing with one arm again. She's probably back on that now.
Yeah.
Levon, once all of a sudden, Hermes came like that. Okay, guess what? Now you got a chance, and it would be interesting to see if he was able to get out the oxygen and just finish the match to see what happened. So now, and it's funny because I was listening to Artem's channel this morning, him and Bajan, and Bajan, for as goofy he can be, he has some good points because number one, he said
super smart. Yeah.
He's ridiculously smart.
And it goes back to what you said, Jason. It opens up a lot because now, there's a lot of people who think they can beat Hermes. And Hermes opened up a gate that we haven't seen lately against Levon. So now everybody's going, people like Gennady or Jerry or Saplinkov's kind of going, okay, maybe even Devin again. They're kind of going, we're doing that now? Okay, that's cool. So now that mystique is gone as that, hey, he's untouchable. All crack their wrist back, and all of a sudden, hey, the mystique is gone. It's like you said with Tyson. He lost once. Well, now he's human again. So there you go.
Yeah.
But I think Levon's a champion. I think he has a real champion's mindset. And we said this on our show on Good Morning Beaches. I think who was on it? I don't remember. But I think it was Paul Lynn, actually, right? Paul Lynn, maybe?
It's probably Paul Lynn.
But I said to him, man, could you imagine the motivation Levon had training
it was Paul.
that Monday or whatever after that event? I guarantee he has a fire under him right now that he has not had in a long time, Levon, and because I believe he's gonna be like, dude, there's a chink, there's a hole there. I'm gonna make sure that guy, and I bet he'll be training differently than ever, and I bet he's gonna come in lighter. I bet he's gonna come in.
He said he wants to be lighter.
Now. I haven't heard him talk, but I bet he's gonna be lighter, and he's gonna double down on his bicep because clearly, as strong as Hermes' hand is, he still couldn't do anything to Levon's hand. And,
right.
But we could definitely, you could see the fatigue in Levon's bicep, his arm. You get again, people talk about Jerry, maybe, you talk about these things, but coulda, shoulda, woulda, it all might happen, who knows. But it's all real interesting, and if you're a fan of arm wrestling, it's a great time to love the sport.
Yeah, and to be a part of it.
Dennis coming back, and all these things. Obviously, we're going to be down at Monster Factory together. That's going to be nice. I hope we fit, man. Jesus, good thing I'm cutting because the factory we had. Yeah, Mike will have to keep them garage doors open because we don't be able to.
Yeah.
But again, some awesome matches there. I can't wait to watch Dustin. Dustin Hyatt, man. I got to grip up with him at the last Monster Factory. That kid is freaking. He's a stud, dude. I'm really curious to see him and Roman. Curious.
That is going to, that was supposed to happen at the last one, but now it's going to happen at this one. And I'm kind of going, okay, I'm excited Ron Bath's going to make the main event against Pablo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm
so
excited.
excited.
How do you see that going?
What's that?
What's your initial
Um,
thoughts on that match? Because I
I
know what
think
mine are.
I think Ron might do it.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think so.
Yeah.
I just look at it is Ron a good enough arm wrestler to beat someone as strong as Pablo? Or is Pablo strong enough to beat someone who can arm wrestle as good as Ron Bath?
Yeah.
As long
And
as
whoever
Ron
said,
Bath's healthy, you know, as
yes.
long as
Oh
he's
no,
Yeah.
healthy,
sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
But you kind of go, all right. The last time we saw Ron pull, where he lost to Paul Lynn, he went to East First West, and there was some,
We saw him beat Chance. We saw Ron beat Chance out last
Yeah.
Chance.
Yeah. So I mean, it's doable. I mean, when Ron gets
Yeah,
into it, and people need to realize if it wasn't for John Brzezinski, we would talk about Ron Bath as the greatest of all time. I don't think people
100%.
understand
Yes.
that. So
100%.
Yes.
I
I'm
don't know. Do you
excited he's
remember?
there.
I don't know if we've ever. I don't know if you and I ever talked about it. Did you have a girl? Because again, we're the same age, and I don't know how long you've been watching arm wrestling, but like I remember watching on. They had the football players versus baseball players on ESPN, and they would have Ron Bath was on there, John Brzezinski as the pro guys. Johnny Walker was on there back in the day.
Mhm.
They would have those guys. It was right around the time Yukon Jack was still going on.
Yes.
And it was like I would say the late '90s, probably late mid '90s or mid '90s, early mid '90s, and they would show the ESPN, and it was they had baseball players against football players, but then John was on there, and like I said, Ron were always two going at it, like in the and Bill was would arm wrestle on there too. Bill was.
I want one of these days. I want Bill Brzezinski to be in John's corner, just for
Hey.
just. Can you imagine just to see all that would be awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, we still got Brzezinski and Todd Hutchins in August coming up. We have
Yeah.
we'll have plenty of time to chit chat about that. But
Another match all of us have been wanting to see.
Sure. Speaking
think-
of corners, I was going to say one of my favorite moments of King of the Table. I know it's a past but I said before, because you just said
Yes.
corner. I love seeing Arachne in John's corner in the Devin match. I thought
Yeah.
the Dennis match. I thought
In the
that
Dennis
was
match.
so cool to see.
He was
Arachne.
rubbing his like forearms
It's just
down, and
living
he's
his best life. Yeah.
he's just talking to John, like helping him, like in his corner. Maybe try doing this. Like it was awesome.
But again,
It was
that's
so
what I love
cool.
about the sport.
Yeah.
You're a month out of the month before that. John and Arachne are having a war on the table, and then a month later, Arachne's massaging him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And it goes to show
Yeah.
you that when you have something like that, somebody in your corner you don't train with, but they got your back. Hey, have you tried this?
Yeah.
It's always good to get information from somebody else. Because like I said,
Oh yeah.
Sarah and I were talking earlier. Sometimes you can see things from a distance that you can't see on the table, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what I see.
Well,
Can you try this? Can you try that? We're talking to people who don't know you on a regular basis when it comes to training.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was just saying. I was saying today at the gym. We're at the gym still. I was down there with we had a guy visiting who was asking me about me training and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, I'm a PT here at the gym, but right now I'm just really focused on my own training and Sarah's. And I told him, I said, yeah, I have a coach. And he was like, oh, really? You're a PT? I was like, dude, Michael Jordan had a coach. He had Phil Jackson. LeBron James has a coach. Conor McGregor has a coach. I don't care. Tom Brady has a coach. So it's just like, if you think you're past being coachable, well, I feel bad for you. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I should be that guy or you or whoever, but it is like, I'm just saying in the veins of what you're saying, it is always amazing to have a knowledgeable person with experience that you trust that can just be like, but have you tried this? You're still doing this. You know what I mean? That's just invaluable.
It's the same thing that I was saying before, how Leerin has always been in my corner. She's always wanted me to get better. She's always wanted me to be the champion that she knows that I can be. So Leerin, I was watching back videos of the tournament. I could hear Leerin yelling at me when I was at the table. Sarah, stay there. Sarah, move your elbows. And I could see her when I'm stuck in the corner. I could literally see her yelling at me, going, Sarah, do this. Sarah, do that. that's somebody that I'm going against, but she's also in my corner. She's also there to help me.
Yeah.
She's also there to tell me like where I need to go, what I need to do. And that's what's so cool about our sport, is that even though I'm still going to be arm wrestling against her, she's telling me how to beat other women on the table.
Right.
And that's what's so cool about our sport.
The last question before we put a bow tie. Tell me what it looks like. You versus Miss Top Roll with Leanne in your corner. What would that look like?
Right now, I think Sarah beats her because poor Alexandra.
I know, because she has one leg.
She has one leg.
Well, yeah.
I may be able to handle her for like a second.
Yeah.
No, but Alexandra is on a completely other level.
I think two things. Well, Alexandra is definitely, she's not only she's bigger. I think Alexandra is a really good because of her style.
She's so
like for instance,
strong.
I'll answer this from a guy's
She's
perspective.
so strong.
When I grab on to 6 Leanne, I can hold Leanne and it's like, okay, she can do her stuff, whatever. Alexandra, even as a guy, I don't know if you ever read that, she's a real threat in her hand.
Yes.
And she's so technical when it comes to hand dominating that I think until you got to be special to beat her. I think as a female, or just massive. I think that you're just a giant person or whatever.
Like having the women that beat her at Arnold's recently, they had an open class.
Yeah.
Even for Alexandra, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's not easy. So even for her, pulling against somebody like Sarah Wilson, come on.
Yeah,
that girl is, she's a beast.
Well,
and size matters.
I mean, it matters in the bedroom, I guess, kind of. But on the arm wrestling table,
it does kind of matter as well.
I keep telling
hey,
her,
Robert Kelly, I'm
Sarah,
just saying hi.
Or the bedroom, or the men's room. But I think again,
hey, Carolyn.
Size matters. Again, what's more important, skill or strength? Strength, unless the strength's equal, now it's skill.
Right.
If you guys are both equal in skill, strength matters. If you guys are everything's equal, but you're bigger, well, you're probably going to win. I mean, there's weight classes for a reason.
There's weight classes for a reason.
And
I was surprised when they had an open class for the women.
It's not even that, but when you look at like in fighting, dude, it's every 10 pounds. It's 35, 45, 55, and then it goes 70, but it's every 10 pounds. Boxing's like every 4 pounds. It's like even crazier, like 8 pounds in boxing. You got super cruiserweight, light cruiserweight, middleweight, bantamweight or middleweight,
flyweight.
Yeah, exactly. But in arm wrestling, I heard, I was coming in as you guys were just talking about the weight class thing, but you can have 0 to 200. Well, if I'm 150 and you're cutting to 200, dude, the level I'd have to be in order to compete with you is.
That's why I was saying with Angie Rose, I could potentially be going against somebody like Angie Rose for the East versus West qualifier. And I'm like, me against Angie Rose. Awesome.
But again, Leanne and Alexandra, all those girls.
They're,
again.
Those are the people that I'm going against.
Those girls didn't lose their skill or strength. You just have someone that's a little more, just bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
And so.
Well, and that's what I was saying too, where it's just in America, the smaller girls just have to get stronger.
Yeah.
We have to have better technique, and we have to get stronger. That's it.
I mean, or eventually, I think the sport does branch
Will
out again.
branch
when
out.
I started watching UFC in '93, there was no weight classes. I remember when they came out with the 155 class, it was like, oh my God. Then it was 45, 30. Now you have men at 125 flyweight all the way up to 265. Again, why? Because it can. As long as it makes, like Floyd Mayweather always says, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. So if you're an arm wrestling promoter, it got to make sense.
Yeah.
And it's got to make sense in order to invest the money into these classes. I get it. It's the chicken and
we just need it to get bigger.
That's all it is.
For us to be able to have more weight classes. I mean, as simple as that, it just needs to get bigger in America.
You keep supporting it. You keep talking about it. I use every opportunity. Sarah and I I'll let you go because I'm going to get the fuck out of here. But, we were PF Chang's the other day, and the guy said, I was handing Sarah a plate. It's like a small little waiter guy.
Yeah.
And he was like, be careful, it's heavy. I was like,
she's multiple state gold medalist arm wrestler. He's like, really? And I was like, believe me, she can out curl you, brother. I promise you. You know?
Right.
And he laughed, but it turned into a conversation at the whole bar. The two bartenders, that's a thing that I've seen on YouTube, or but again, it's a subtle little thing that it's. Is it me showing off? I don't know. I'm just trying to promote the sport, and promote these things. Or I'm just trying to. I don't care who it is. If you got a channel, you got a YouTube, or Facebook, and Instagram. I'm liking your shit.
No.
You notice, like Jody, go through your things and see how many posts you make that aren't liked by Jason LaTona. No, it's not because I'm just trying to suck your cock.
Right.
But I am, because you're cool. No, but it's just me showing love, boosting algorithms, all that stuff like that. And I do it to everybody in the sport that I think is trying to do it. If I don't do it, it's probably because I don't follow you or anything, or I missed your post. But for the most part, you put something up in our sport, training, male, female, I'm liking it. I'm not trying to, have sex with your wife or girl. I'm just supporting you, the sport, and everything about it.
We support each other. I mean, after all, you got armed sports entertainment athletes on this show. So yeah, I totally get that, So, but hey, I want to thank Sarah for being on the show. Bonus coverage from Jason, and I'm gonna wrap this bad boy up, and then I want to say I will see y'all next month at the Monster Factory number 4.
I know, right?
Yes.
I was gonna say, because you never can come on our show, huh? Tuesday.
I think because you guys go live Tuesday, I work Tuesday nights. So I don't know if you guys can pre-record one or what. I don't know how that works out, but
I gotta ask Brandon and all that shit. Yeah, she handles all the tech stuff, and Brandon. We'll figure something out. But I mean, hey, we always try to show you love and everything like that. And like you said, if we don't see you before that, talk to you before that, I will be liking all of your posts, and we'll see you April 29th, Monster Factory. So.
Yes, that's right. So everybody, thanks for joining us on the show. Sarah, keep training hard. We will touch base. Jason, we will touch base in Hot Springs, Arkansas. But until then, everybody, enjoy the rest of your night. Take care, you guys.
All right, see you, brother. Have a great night, Chad.
Take care.
See ya.